Thank you, Chair. Honourable Minister. The ACDP is grateful for the opportunity that we have today to speak to this bill, which was briefly considered in the Health Portfolio Committee, but given significant airtime by radio stations who facilitated discussion and allowed the public a voice. Being able to openly discuss these painful issues helps us South Africans feel that we are part of nation building and not marginalised or ignored when our beliefs do not support the popular narrative. As you are aware, the ACDP believes in the sanctity of human life and looks forward to a time when the life of an unborn child will be given the reasonable protection that it deserves. This legislative proposal, however, does not seek to challenge the Constitution, but to improve the existing provisions in legislation that are in line with the Constitution. The amendment aimed to ensure greater protection of a woman's right to apply her mind to relevant facts and information in order to make an informed choice and to ensure through mandatory, not as opposed to non-mandatory counselling, that adequate budgets are made available for this purpose. Secondly, it aimed to address discrimination against babies conceived by women in low-income families. The original amendment proposed removing social and economic circumstances as a ground for termination after 13 weeks, but later just added a requirement that a social worker and a medical practitioner take the necessary decision together, as a social worker is better placed to know whether alternative solutions are available for consideration. And finally, as the intention of the legislators in 1996 to increase restrictions on termination of pregnancy in line with the development of the baby in the womb is clear, reference to a risk of injury to the fetus as a valid reason to terminate an otherwise viable baby after 20 weeks of gestation is not only vague, but an excessive response. Every birth could be said to pose a risk of injury to the fetus, and provision already exists in the termination of a fetus after the 20th week if the continued pregnancy would result in severe malformation of that fetus. As you have heard, one of the main concerns expressed in opposing the bill is the cost of ultrasound machines. Now, the ACDP is of the opinion that the fact that not all clinics, including abortion-providing clinics, have access to this basic technology, not fourth revolutionary technology, basic technology, is first of all discriminatory. We realize that for some, the concern is that if a woman sees the developing child within her, she will feel pressure not to go ahead with the termination. Now, in terms of research done, this does not often happen. It doesn't often result in a change regarding the decision already taken to abort, but a percentage of women do change their minds and are grateful that they did. Many abortions in South Africa are repeat abortions, and the potential for educating women at this time regarding safer sex and future pregnancies is significant. Now, pretending that a fetus is not a life is misleading and unscientific as well. In a society where people value freedom to choose, they also value transparency and access to information so that those choices are informed
Honourable Dudley,
choices.
your time is now expired.
So, I quickly want to thank the legal services for the valuable work done in assisting me with the drafting of this bill, and also those members of the committee who actually did want us to apply our minds further. But thank you very much for this opportunity today. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member.